Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Rave with Mara podcast. On the podcast today, what did I talk about? I talked about the 2023 presidential elections. Well, there was the House of Rep and then Senate, but my major focus today is going to be on the presidential elections. And I thought long and hard if truly I wanted to talk about this thing, but again, this is what the podcast is about. Talking about what's happening in our country, in our lives, and society in general. So stay tuned. I'm very sure that if, like me, you're in Nigeria right now, what's really on your mind is, hmm, hmm, what did I see with my eyes? And what exactly is Inec chairman or the Inec officials presenting to us as a country? And quite frankly, I think it's just a very small fraction of Nigerians that are elated about the outcome of this election. And I'll tell you why. So before I get into the story of what exactly happened, here are a couple of the facts, right? First one being that Inec, which is the electoral body that is supposed to be independent of any factor, independent of any party, independent of anybody, had 4 years. So elections in Nigeria is carried out every 4 years, right? And INEC is the body responsible for taking charge of this entire process. And they're supposed to be independent, unbiased, and give their verdict based on evidences presented. Now, the independency of INEC also points to the fact that they have or they put together an electoral act, meaning regardless of what the country's constitution says, INEC can put forth their own, so to say, law or an act to say this is what is binding in this particular election, and everybody, regardless of your position, current sitting president would adhere to that based on the fact that this body is supposed to be unadulterated, unfiltered, if you may. But again, they had 4 years. The last time we had an election was in 2019. They had so much time to prepare. And so far, if you check down the budgets that's been set aside for this electoral process, so far, this is the highest, the most we've spent on the electoral process. We spent 40 billion, we spent 16 billion from 2011 down to this point. But this is the first time that the Nigerian government invested 300 billion. This is turning out to be one of the worst elections that we've had. And it all boils down to the fact that this act that this independence body, INEC, has put together did not adhere to its own policy. So this is, first of all, the facts, right? And then the other fact being that for a president-elect, he has to meet two conditions, right? These two conditions being, one, you need to satisfy 25% or secure 25% of votes in 2/3 states of the 36 states in Nigeria, and then plus the FCT. Meaning, if you do 2/3 of the 36, you have 24 plus the FCT. Now, it turns out that regardless of everything that happened, which I'm going to get into that story at the end of the day, as I'm talking to you right now, we have a president-elect. We have a president-elect that did not meet this requirement, but yet a ceremony was held yesterday and he was given the certificate of return, meaning to say that we had, according to INEC standard, we had the 2023 presidential elections was free and fair. But okay, no problem. Of course, a day before the election, everybody was elated. People were even making content as to, oh, what is comfortable to wear to the electoral grounds, or what you should take, water, this, that, umbrella, and that was fine. And we were all sure that come what may, we were going to show up at the polling unit and perform our due diligence, our civic responsibility as Nigerians. Fair. Now, on the INEC portal, they did a very good thing by putting the map of the various polling units. So if you had your polling unit number and the name, you could just scroll down to where your local government first of all, then your ward, and then you find out exactly your polling unit number, and then there's an address attached to it. Now, the first problem I noticed was, now, I transferred my voter's card, but I have lived in the area for almost 2 years, right? So I didn't think that it was going to be a problem for me to locate my polling unit. Now, I woke up on that day, I put the address on the map, and the address showed me where the polling unit was supposed to be. Mind you, this is a road. This is just hang around and see what's happening. And then within 5 minutes, a bus drove in with some policemen and some INEC officials, some youth corpers. And I came, the official, I think, who was supposed to be their lead, came down, and the bus stopped directly in front of me. And he was asking, what polling unit is this? And everybody was confused because we've been here for like a while. Everybody had been going up and down, expecting that these INEC officials would be the one to tell us exactly the answers that we had questions to. But rather, they were asking us what polling unit this was. So again, I thought, well, fair. A lot of them may have just been redeployed to Abuja. Most of them don't know what's happening. We said, okay. One man spoke and said, oh, I voted here last 2 years, but now it's seeming like they're saying my polling unit is in here. I don't know what that is about, They went on and on and on, and then I told them, okay, fine. Asking us what polling unit is this isn't going to cut it. What polling unit number do you guys have? Let's even start from there. And then one of the youth corporals, which I later found out was the presiding officer, came down and he spoke to me, and I explained to him, oh, this is the situation. And he explained that they had driven to about 4 different places looking for the location. You know what's going to happen? Right now, I know about 10 people who are with this number. So how about you try verifying to see if this is correct, because the location where it shows, there is nothing that is happening there. We would not even be able to get tables and chairs for you to sit or do carry out these processes. So how about we do this? And he collected my voter's card, checked. Apparently, my surname is AB, so Abutu, which was the first on the list. So he was like, okay, fine. He checked with a few other persons, and we were like, okay, fine. Now, we now decided also, since this was a primary school, we can choose a certain location where we can set up. And then I know that, again, because this is supposed to be the center where most people are voting, they would come here first before trying to figure out if the unit had been changed. Let's be honest, not a lot of people know how to read the map. The way we are saying, oh, INEC did everything, blah, 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 not a lot of people knew that there was even map, first of all. So he listened to us, and they set up in one area. Now, the challenge was now that, the names of the people they brought was about, I think, 60 something. It wasn't much. So I was like, oh, okay. We are not even much. And then one lady now, when they were setting up, one lady came. Her number was the same as ours, but her name wasn't on the list. Okay. So how do you come with the names of people printed out, mind you, who are supposed to be voting at these polling units? But for some reason, you're saying they can't vote at the polling units where their number is at, because their name wasn't printed out on the printouts that you came with. So there was that, first of all, that confusion of, oh, okay, this is not my polling unit. Can you tell me where I'm supposed to go? Because even on the INEC portal, it shows that my address is supposed to be with you guys, and I'm supposed to vote with you guys. But now you're telling me I cannot perform that duty because my name is not here. So, okay, can you tell me where I'm supposed to vote? And they went, oh, we don't know. I think about 5 persons went before me. And what I noticed was that they were really slow. I wasn't paying attention at first. And then it now occurred to me, oh, wait, I've been standing here for more than 30 minutes, and I'm like the 6th person because I allowed a few persons in front of me because they were elderly. But what exactly is going on? What is taking this process a little longer than it should be? And I went a bit closer, and I realized, oh wait, they have to first verify your name on the paper, tick it, then the lady, the one with the beavers, would collect it and look at the number or whatever it is she's doing on it. First of all, I didn't even know that they were supposed to thumbprint. I can't remember if I did thumbprint. Honestly, a lot has happened within the last couple of days that I can't remember anything as much anymore. I can't remember if I did that, but I know that if I did thumbprint and my name came out, my picture came out, I don't know. But yes, I know that my face was on the screen. And then she said she also needed to verify the data, to enter it into the data that I had voted. So it was now time to capture. Now, she was doing the capture thingy over and over. It wasn't working. And we did, I think, 2 or 3 times. And it finally appeared on the screen. It showed verified. I said, okay. Next thing was, I was supposed to get my ballot papers, go to the cubicle thingy and thumbprint and all that. I casted my vote. And I sat down for a bit, watching everybody else. Another polling unit set up, I think there were about 4 different polling units in that same location, that's in primary school. And then, where it started to get a little crazy, that I knew that, okay, this entire thing was a sham, was when my friend, so first of all, it was that lady, I got her name, Ekene, whose name was supposed to be at my polling unit, but now the printer they brought, her name wasn't there. So the printer stopped at O or something. So her name wasn't there, and they said she couldn't vote. Okay, why is she supposed to go and vote? Couldn't you verify on the beavers and allow her to vote? Then one of my neighbors now called me that she had gone to about 3 different polling units. None of them had her name. None of them was the correct one. Now, I went on the Inec portal to check or confirm that, where actually is the location for this lady? And I used the map and I found out, it's actually somewhere inside Guarimpa. Now, when she went to that location, she was already tired. Mind you, she's been spending transport fare, going to about 3 or 4 different locations. And then I told her she was complaining that she doesn't think she'll be able to go anymore. And this was around past 12 now. Now, I left my polling unit and I came back home. And she was calling me to explain to me how she's tired. And I said, please just try one last time. If we don't do this thing, we won't do it again till the next 4 years. And she said, okay, fine. I should tell her where. She went to the actual location. And guess what? It was a different polling unit there. How did Inec set up different polling units? First of all, that it was not at the location where you said it was going to be. Secondly, why do you have polling units that are in the middle of nowhere? In the middle of nowhere. Like, how the hell were people supposed to find these locations? 3, why would you have some people's names cut out from your printouts? Of course, I didn't even see the need for the printout, first of all. I didn't see, if you had beavers that had everybody's information, if you have your voter's card, all you needed to do was to present it to them or give them your number or something. Is it not for them to just bring it out? If the thing had it alphabetically arranged, I didn't even see the point. Even people who didn't have voters card could have been allowed to vote if you are telling us that you have checked through all of your register, your INEC register, and you found that everybody on your register is above 18 and they are liable to vote. I didn't see the point of that, but I was like, okay, people can have fake information, right? Fake voters card. And I started hearing from other parts of Abuja. Some people had gone round and round. It was the same issue. And I specifically found out that Guarimpa local government had the most of this confusion. And at 2:30, there was a location that did not have any officials. And I kept saying, oh, please don't go home, just chill, they would come. We were on Twitter, on Instagram, tagging Inec, asking them to go to different locations. Why do we have to do that? If you had 4 years to prepare for these elections, why did you need your citizens to tell you, first of all, that you're supposed to be at the polling units that each person has been assigned before 8:30 in the morning? Why did we need to do that? My Inec officials turned up, I think around 3:30 or 4-ish, and it turned out that they had about 4,000 persons under one polling unit. INEC Nigeria, again I ask you, what was your plan? If you had the intention of having several polling units broken down into beats because you didn't want more than 300 or 200 persons to be at one unit, what exactly was your plan when you put 4,000 persons under one polling unit? To ensure that people will vote, and at the end of the day, once it's 2:30, you stop accreditation and say, those who were not in the queue before that time can no longer be voted. So this was a deliberate attempt by INEC, that is supposed to be an independent body, to confuse people and scatter the electoral process. That is what I feel. If the beavers was done in such a way that it would know the exact number of voters, it captured the exact number of people that were voting and people who had voted, why couldn't we tell from the beavers which the total number of voters that we had to go again and count the papers? Why couldn't there be an electronic device to ascertain which of these thumbprints was invalid or not? All of this inside the 300 billion, there was no budget for that. So again, I ask people, the 300 billion, was it just for the printing of papers? Let's take Lagos State for instance. There were cases in Lagos State where thugs did not allow people vote for any other party other than APC. There were places where ballot boxes were burned. There were places where ballot boxes were snatched. People were injured, and thugs were... How many people, basically? There's a picture or a video of a lady who was stabbed in the eye. Now, in Abuja, I don't think there were any places where there were a lot of fighting and people snatching ballot boxes, except for places that I know that youths were really aggrieved because they were out and they didn't get to see any Inec officials until like past 4. So you can imagine them now saying that they were going to close, they were voting by 8 p.m. Of course, people were going to get angry at that. And clean to everybody who witnessed this entire charade or sham of an election to know that the INEC chairman and his people did something on purpose. And even, when they announced the first result from Ekiti, and they said APC had won by a landslide, and everybody kept thinking, but wait though, not Ekiti states get the highest number of professors, people, they are supposed to be the most elite in the entire country. And you people are voting back a government who will feel no remorse at killing its people. See, some are not retired people. Now waiting me, I don't realize. And then a day later, I saw some of them taking to the streets and saying, they didn't vote APC. Again, INEC chairman closed his eyes and ears to these allegations. Now, at the Coalition Center in Abuja, where they were reading off numbers, which again I ask, the INEC result portal that was created, what was it created for exactly? Because as at the time I went to check for a lot of places, they were still, even as I'm talking to you right now, those places have no results. And I thought that, okay, if they entered the figures into the beavers would transmit these numbers, and there would be a system where it calculates everything electronically. So the idea that people would write it out on the result sheet, and somebody would go upload it. Now there is no system at all that collates these numbers automatically. Somebody needs to now sit down again and start adding these numbers. Are we not ashamed of ourselves? Okay, now they collect results for APC, and all of a sudden, every other party, NNPP, LP, PDP, theirs was correctly done in the simple mathematics that we know, addition. But when it got to the APC's part, they did an abracadabra, a multiplication. Nobody, Inec chairman's attention was called to that, but he said no until the results finished. So why were party agents allowed to be there to contend the results? Also, they were just supposed to sit down there and accept everything at face value, regardless of the fact that everything you were reading of, we knew they were lies. It's truly a shame. It's a shame that people's parents, people's families can stay on national television and lie with their face straight, like, oh, there's no repercussion for it. I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to do it clean, clear, and nothing can happen to me. It's really a shame. Honestly, it is a bloody shame. It took like 2 days for them to put the entire result together. Something that they would have done within a few hours if this thing was truly electronically, as Inec promised us last year. I remember him stating this more than 5 times in 2022, that this thing was going to be in real time. We would see the results as everybody is comprinting. As soon as they are done, everything will be in real time. Tell me why this was not adhered to. Why exactly was it not adhered to? Okay, Dino, for the life of him, for the first time, he did something that was actually good. He was fighting for his party, but it meant that, he was actually saying what was true. So he stood up and he was telling them that, no, they can't accept these results, but because they know that the results they have and what they are collating, they were in disparity. But again, INEC chairman lied his face off to say, till the end of the result. So there were places that they had said, because they were not able to carry out an election because of so and so that happened. Rivers State, a copper was murdered. Governor Wiki and his thugs murdered a copper and a few persons because they refused to change the results in favor of APC. A lot of things happened all across the country, yet the election was not cancelled. INEC came and said, for those places that were not able to vote, not to worry, 8 a.m., between 8 a.m. and 12 on Sunday, they can go back to their polling units and cast their votes. How many of you actually went back to your polling units and they were able to cast their votes on Sunday? I know of a polling unit that in Abuja, where they didn't start on time, and so they were not going to let the coppers go, and they had elections up until 5 a.m. in the morning. Up until 2, and then they started counting until 5 a.m. in the morning. So people sacrificed their time, their resources. People stayed under the sun, under the rain. It rained on Saturday, just so they can see that they perform their civic duties. But what did INEC do? INEC looked at us in our face and told us, your votes are nothing. Whether you voted or you did not vote, we can come off and tell you people, this is the numbers and you have to accept it. So now, it now begs the question again. So why were they all clamoring, come and get your PVC, come and do this, ensure you cast your votes? So all of that was just for the show of it. They had no plans to actually give us the results of the actual elections that was held. Wow. Each time I think about it, it shocks me again and again and again. There are some people within us who would stop at nothing to ensure that no matter what the means, they would emerge as winners. Okay. Inside all the rigging and everything that happened, you said you were going to go back. INEC chairman said he was going to go back on the results and, clear out some of those misgivings and all whatnot. But guess what? On Wednesday night, people slept and woke up. At 4 a.m., the president-elect was announced. As I'm talking to you now, we have a president-elect that has been given a certificate of return, and it shows that, oh, fine, based on the numbers that we have, he has about 8 million thereabouts votes. It means that he's the president-elect. Now, some of those numbers that we know were rigged. Some of them, we have the results of our polling units, and what they read out, it doesn't match up. What is on the Inec portal, it doesn't match up. Most of the results that were entered were later changed. On some of those results, you would see absolutely trash, absolutely rubbish. But again, the Inec chairman has not been asked to come in for questioning. Nothing has been done. Nobody is asking for a recalculation to be done, because we know that if we do the actual thing, there is no way that your president-elect will emerge as a winner. But okay, the fact that you did all of these things, everybody saw it. The young, the old, children even, they know that this person who has been announced as the winner is absolutely not the winner. They went ahead, like the arm robbers that they are, and announced the president of the country. Okay. It's 24 hours after I'm recording this, and Labour Party delegates and our Labour Party candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, he has written that he would be having a press conference where he was going to be addressing a couple of things, and question on everybody's lips is, what are we going to do next? You know, are we going to fight back? Mind you, the only way to fight back, shout out to people in Jos, some persons in Abuja and Lagos, they had a peaceful protest to say that the Inec chairman and these people were doing rubbish. But again, that did not affect them in any way. They were still going strong, and they ignored all of the other things that happened and went ahead to announce Asiwaju. Okay. What we can do, the next line of action will be to take it to the tribunal. And even the APC people are also saying, take it to the tribunal. And now I'm asking, during the 2015 elections, during the 2019 elections, we knew that some places were rigged to favor President Muhammadu Buhari. Even at my polling unit and collation center, this happened, right? But then, the courts had been on that case from that time. Up until now, no arrest was ever made. Nothing was ever recalled. And now I'm like, even if we say, let's take it to court, is it not the same armed robbers that are in that court? I know I said this thing, and a colleague of mine was saying, oh no, that it wasn't as serious as this, and so it means that the court would have to listen. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think they would, because I'm not saying this to say that I'm giving up hope on Nigeria. I'm absolutely not. But I'm saying this to say that for us to actually get it right, we have to start from where the problem emanated. And it's from the fact that the election process from the beginning, from A to Z, was trash. It was not conducted in a free, fair, and I don't know why, for whatever reason, we are not going back on those records. Okay, even if they were calling for a rerun, based on these results, it would still be APC and PDP. And now I'm waiting for what the Labour Party agents and Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi would say. And whatever he says, I'm standing strong by him. But at the same time, I am saying that I feel like if we don't go back to recall how this entire thing was done, I see no hope with us getting something out of the tribunal or from court. That is how I feel. Because if you go back to court and court is saying, they may even end up dragging the case, as with the case of Atiku and Buhari in 2019. Court or no court, the evidences are there. All the Nigerians saw these results being rigged in our eyes. But then again, I've gone through several kinds of emotions from 25th to this very moment, second that I'm recording this episode. And if I say that I am happy, I am lying. It doesn't feel that we had an election and it was the people's choice. It doesn't feel like it at all. Even the so-called APC supporters who are going on and gloating and saying, oh, I told you so, Peter Obi will never emerge. Okay, by what means did your candidate emerge as the president-elect? By what means? Within you know that if this was a free and fair election, he would not even come close to the second position. So why do we enjoy lying to ourselves? Why do we enjoy telling blatant lies that we know aren't even true? So you don't care whatever means your president-elect used in assuming this position, then that says a lot about your person. So you don't care that your APC president murdered these youths. You don't care that they don't care whatever means they would take to assume the position. And they kept saying, oh, all of these are just allegations, it was never proven, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now the elections came, and we saw videos of APC's thugs, Tinubu's thugs to be exact, carrying out all sorts of violence all around Lagos. And again, you still stood by them. So what that tells me, it tells me that your value as a human being is shit. It tells me that you agree and you endorse whatever they are doing. It tells me that you feel no remorse for whatever is happening to these people who have been injured, people who have died because of your APC's presidential elect, because none of this harm has happened to you. It tells me that as a human being, you are not empathetic. It tells me that as a human being, you are a shitty person. If you can stand behind a government who will do all of these things and you call it, oh, it is politics. Politics is a dirty game. Oh, it is your own presidential candidate who was not prepared enough to also rig. Then it tells me that I have no business being friends with you. And that's just how it is. So this is not me even not accepting defeat. I was telling somebody yesterday when he was announced, when I woke up to the news, and I didn't even sleep early. I slept like some minutes to 4 a.m. So it was just within a few minutes that I slept, and your president-elect was announced like a thief. Like a thief. Okay? And then you are coming to gloat to tell me, I told you so. What was for Peter Obi is just a boy, and blah 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 blah. And honestly, regardless of whoever the president of this country is, I have decreed and I've declared that in this land of my birthright, nobody is going to chase me away. If I want to leave the country, I would leave and come back to the country of my birthright. This land of my birthright, regardless of whatever corruption your president-elect is going to come with, it is not going to affect me and my household. Whatever insecurity they are going to propagate, whatever more issues they are going to bring to us as a nation, it is not going to affect me and my household. Again, I tell you that if you're an APC supporter and you're gloating, you're happy about this entire ruckus, then of course you're telling me that your values align with your so-called candidate. And I have no business with a person who would align with such persons. It is not a fight, it is not a struggle, it is what you have chosen as your choice, and this is what I am also choosing as my choice. There is no hatred involved, apart from the fact that I know that if it was truly the people's choice, the country would not be as silent as it was yesterday, and even 24 hours after, it is still very much silent. There is no much jubilation going on in the country. So who are the so-called people that voted the guy in? Who are the so-called people that voted the guy in? If we are being honest, the highest number of people who voted in APC are more than those who voted in the other parties or other candidates. Shouldn't the country be jubilating right now? Shouldn't the larger part of the country be happy about this success? But even in the so-called Lagos states that he said he, brought about the infrastructure and everything that's going on in that state, how many fraction of people in Lagos states were actually happy? And each time I hear, I have no business, I do not support all these other things that he's doing, I just think he's a better president, I want him to replicate what he has done in Lagos, in the federation. Then I ask you, what exactly was that thing that Tinubu actually did that wasn't already put in place? Mind you, Lagos State was the city's federation where the colonizers were based. So Lagos State already had its own, so to say, government that was carrying Lagos State around. So if there was already a structure that Tinubu met when he was elected governor, what exactly did he bring into that state? And if we are being honest, okay, Lagos State is this, Lagos State is that. Forgetting that Lagos State is an industrialized city. Most companies are coming in from other countries. Most companies are in Nigeria. They are headquartered in Lagos. So most of everything that is going on in Lagos is actually being handled by the taxpayers' money from these industries. So please tell me, what is that thing that he did so great in Lagos State that you want him to replicate at the federal level? Call for a rerun. I am going to vote again. If they don't call for a rerun, I will wait until the next 4 years. In the next 4 years, I'm going to go to my polling units and cast my vote again for a candidate who I think is competent. I have been emotionally invested in this entire thing. The youths of Nigeria have been emotionally invested in this thing. If you were so powerful, like you said, you are the Jagaban, you would have allowed us have a free and fair election. When you emerge, we will all respect the fact that, truly, you be Jagaban. If you don't be Jagaban, people don't go vote you. But because you didn't even trust in your own capabilities, you didn't trust in your own abilities, you didn't trust in the fact that, people actually may not vote you. So you decided to do whatever it is, abracadabra, that you guys did. But then again, it's Nigeria. Can I even say that we are surprised? I don't know if I can say that we are surprised. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week, and I know maybe by next week we'll have better information, better news. I don't know, but yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye bye.